Hi friends, I'm back again, and just before we move forward to Maven project and frameworks, I just wanted to note some interesting things with our previous servlet GSP example. If you remember, we created this application that received data from web form that sent the post request. We can run the application and we created form for it. Just know that you can pass these variables using URL string like this. If you remember, the first one was the parameter called first name equals, John, and the second variable is last name, let's say Bonham. And if we hit enter, then our servlet will process this request the same way it processed the form request. So keep in mind, sometimes it is a handy way. And another interesting thing, when we request our servlet, then we fill our form, hit submit, and get the response. Note that the URL string didn't change at all, because we work with the servlet, which is our model view controller that operates with GSP pages and decides which page to show us. And the last thing I would like to show you is that you can use these variables inside the HTML by special GSP tags. Let's say we delete this out here and make kind of table here with the two rows. And two columns in each row. That would be our first name and that last name. To insert the variables in the second columns, we do this equals and then variable name. Do the same for the second row. That way. Let's save and let's look like how it works. Hit submit, and we see that the response is well formed. Okay, let's move forward and start our new project. Let's close all this stuff. I'll delete the project. Now we do not have any projects here, so we are ready to start new project. Let's stop our server temporary. And create new project, and this time it will be Maven project. So new project, choose other, type Maven, and you see the Maven project option. Select it, click next. By choosing archetype, you can create kind of predefined and pre-configured Maven project. with the folder structure and other things. You can choose archetype from hundreds from different vendors, but I always prefer to create a simple and clean Maven project and then configure and create missing structure by myself. So I'll choose create simple project, default workspace location, um, keep defaults, click next. The next dialog asks us the group ID, which is basically the package in which we work in. So let's say it's example dot okay, that would be fine. Then the artifact ID, it's will be our web archive name, our artifact name, which we'll create in the end. So let's say it's then the version, because we just started, let's keep it default. And because we are not doing any libraries right now, we are doing web applications, so select the war archive, that's the web archive. Other fields can be left empty, just they are not required. Skip the parent project option fields, because we are not doing any modules, we are doing the application from the scratch. And then click finish and wait till the Eclipse will create the project. And here's our new project, and you see that it's a Maven project. And let's open the structure. And because we are working with the Spring frameworks, the first thing you can do is give the Spring Nature project to our Maven project, and you do it that way: Spring Tools, add Spring project Nature. And now it's not just a Java project, it's a Spring Framework project. You see the additional Spring elements available here, and this enables additional capabilities and Spring validations in our project, so that we can use all Spring plugin features. So let's look to the project structure. These Spring elements is a quick path to some Spring XML configuration files and beans and other Spring related things. So it's empty by now because we do not have any Spring configurations right now. The other 4 folders is a quick path to the Java folder, which contains all Java source files, the resources folder, which will contain any additional configurations and other resources. Then 2 folders is in test subfolder, and that means that it will contain any unit tests and another test resources. We will do not create and program any unit tests, so that we can just delete these folders to keep our project structure cleaner and simpler. Then by default we have a Java Runtime Environment System Library .1.5 version. Just recommend to change it to the 1.6 version. Simple as that. And next folder, I'm sorry, that's not a folder, that is a list of library dependencies included in the class path, so that we by opening it we will know which libraries are included in our project. So the source folder is basically the same as these two. You see it contains the main test, which we will not require. Delete that. And inside we have Java resources. You see them here, Java resources, and web app folder. And the web app folder will be our public folder, like we had the web content in the dynamic web project. Here it is called web app. We'll create many folders and files inside that folder just later. The target folder is a folder that will contain our compiled and packaged project, also with our web archive that can be deployed in our application server and run. So, and the last most important configuration file is a project object model.xml. Let's open it. Let's go to the source file, and here we see the initial configuration for build procedure of our project. So you know why we are using Maven to build our project? Because of more or less large projects use what we call build tools to build and compile and script the build procedure, which can't be done as easy in the using the Eclipse provided dynamic web project and other projects, because we want to use the predefined build procedure the same for all developers, so that they can just check out from the version control repository the project and use just few Maven commands to start the build and package project. Okay, now you know that this file describes stages and steps required to package our project successfully. You see something already are included here, which we provided while creating the project, and you see the group ID, artifact ID we entered version, packaging, and the simple name describing the application. You can edit this file anytime you want. The Maven project object models are slightly different comparing to the Apache Ant build scripts. The Maven is more clever than Ant and more robust, and let's try to compile and package our project, which is empty right now. So to do that, we right click on the project and then point to run as, and you see here some predefined Maven commands. You can read details on them in the official documentation of Maven. We will use in our project we will use two of them. It's Maven clean and Maven install. Maven clean means that it basically deletes the target folder and with all of its contents, with the old packages, for example if the source files were changed. And the second command we will use, it is Maven install, which includes other Maven commands like build, package, and I think you can't see it here, but there's a couple of another commands, and in the end of execution of this command we get the web archive, um, and additionally installed it in our Maven local repository. So first let's try to clean the project, because we have something in the target folder. Run as maven clean, and let's look what is the console output. And you see the Maven started to do his things, and build success means that it successfully deleted the target folder, and now it should be empty. Let's refresh our project, and you see that nothing is inside our target folder. And now let's try to install our project, and let's see how it works. Something happening here. Okay, build failure. Let's look what happened. First, scan for projects. That means that Maven looks for project object model files. So if the root folder of project does not have this file, then the build will fail. Now it shows us that it found project object model, and which is our application name with the version. Then it downloaded some required project object model files from a remote repository. Then if we look below, we see the error message we get, and that says that we do not have the web XML, which is web application descriptor. So we should add it and hope that we will avoid this error again. So because we did not use any predefined archetypes, the web XML was not created for us, and we should create it manually. And the location of web XML should be the source main web app folder, and in the web app folder we must create the folder called web inf, like in our dynamic web project we have a meta inf and web inf. So just create new folder and call it webinf, which will be automatically secured by our application server. And inside that folder we create new XML file, simple clean XML file, and call it web XML. Here are now empty web XML file. I have prepared the default content of it, and it looks like now like that. Just web app tag with the required namespaces, like in a regular XML file. Then display name, which will be the same as our project name, and welcome file list is the first file which will be returned when accessing our application in web browser. Let's keep it index.jsp, and of course let's create it as well, and it should be included in the web folder. GSP, call it index.gsp. Click finish, and just basic template. And let's say here we create header, and to test, let's say okay, save it. We can close it, and now let's try to package it the second time. And by the way, if you do not want to execute these two commands separately, then you can create your own build command, which can be created using this Maven build with 3 dots. And here you can create new configuration where goals is our command, and you just type in these two commands you need to execute. Clean install, first will be clean executed, then install. Other things you can leave empty, and then click apply and run. Let's see what happens now. And you see that now our project, first of all, you see that target folder were deleted, so the clean command were executed here using Maven clean plugin, which is included in Maven binary. So then compiler plugin and other things happens here, and here the packaging started. So you see that application well assembled, then the web archive file were created, and you can ignore this warning right now. And then you see that these artifacts were installed in our local Maven repository, which is our user folder, then the .m2 folder, repository, and so on. And of course build is success. So you can now check the target folder, and you will see that there's a couple of new files created inside. Here's our compiled and packaged web archive, which is our web application that can be deployed in our Tomcat application server. Then a couple additional folders, and the same as web archive, just not packaged. So if we open, we see our web application inside, which includes our index.gsp, true meta, info, and webin folders, and inside of that we have a webxml descriptor. So these web archive were installed in our local Maven repository. We can check it by going to it. So let's go to our user folder, Maven 2 folder, and you see here's the repository, and a lot of things here. And you remember that we called our group ID, our package, com example. So we should go to com, then you see the example, our package, and our artifact name here. So the next thing is versions. So if we will have several versions in the future, the all of them will be listed here, and you go inside and you see that the our application were installed in our local main repository. And let's see what will happen if we try to deploy this application to our Tomcat application server. So close that. Right now we are not using our new created Tomcat instance because it's not configured yet. So let's try to use the main process, main instance. We remember it is localhost 8080, and here's our Tomcat application server. Let's open Tomcat Manager. Hope you remember the password. And then we go to the section, the WebArchive file to deploy. Let's find our WebArchive and location of it. You can do it either by selecting it in our main repository, or simply find the Eclipse workspace in which you're working and take it from the target folder. Let's say I will do it in do it via the repository. So go here and choose the WebArchive and click the deploy. And hopefully the application were deployed successfully. You see now it's included in the applications list, and here's the name of our application which we typed in our web.xml file, and the application is running. So you can test the application by hitting this link, and you see that like we defined in our web.xml, the index.jsp page were loaded, which generated output for us initial project test, which means that our initial project configuration works, so that we can move forward. So okay, join me in the next part of our course, where we will add dependent libraries to our project and configure our Tomcat instance so that we do not have to deploy manually web archives in the Tomcat Manager every time. So see you.